Hi, everybody. I hope you are having an absolutely fabulous Monday. It's so nice to see you here on the Altenew YouTube and Facebook channels. And I'm Amy Hill, and this is Amy's Inspiration Station. So thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm so happy to see you here. I see Kathy and Tracy and Sue and Nancy. And we have Han behind the badge. So please give a huge shout out to Han. And Han will be moderating, and she also will be drawing a winner. So let us know that you are, or where it is that you're sharing this live while we're live, and you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card today. And today we are talking lovely layers. So I'm really excited to show you some cards. I'm still doing my shop my stash before I go ahead and purchase anything. So this is one that I really didn't have an opportunity to play a lot with. So I was really excited to get it out. And I hope that you'll be excited to see it too. And we are talking about the Build a Garden Dear Dahlias. So I'd love to know if you have this set and maybe you were a little intimidated because it's a little bit different. So let me know. So this is the Build a Garden Dear Dahlias. Or maybe you saw it and you were like, I'm not sure about that set. I'm not sure exactly how it works. So that's what we're playing with today. And we're going to be talking about how do we get those layers so it doesn't look too clunky, or what do I do with this, etc. So we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. And we have Lynn coming in there from Arizona, and Ann is here, and Serena and Nisa. Hi, Nisa. And Cynthia from Northern California, and Kathy and Audrey. Hi. All right. And Vicki, thank you so much for sharing. And you too could be like Vicki and Helena and share this on your social media pages while we're live, and you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card. Oh, wow. So nice to see you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead. I got a lot to do. All right, Han, are we ready? We got a lot going on today, of course, as usual. Some reason I like to do a lot during these lives, probably too much. So here is my space. And oh, hi, Veronica. And Marna and and Helena. And I'm so glad you guys are here. And thank you guys again for sharing this. And hi, Lynn. Thank you again for sharing this live while we're live, and you'll be entered to win a gift card. All right, here we go, Han. Here we go. All right, so I have these two cards, and you might look at this and go, I don't know what you're talking about, Amy, because my version of the Build a Garden Dear Dahlia does not look like that, and you would be correct. So the Build a Garden Dear Dahlia is this really great little stamp set, and this is the stamp. It's actually this one big, huge floral, and it has some really, really great sentiments. But it also, because they're Build-A-Gardens, it comes with a stencil, and it comes with a layering stencil. And it also comes with, and this is the unique part, I think, it comes with a die set. And the die set comes with a huge outline, but it also comes with this, which is almost like a craft-a-flower, where it's this layers of this flower. And this flower, believe it or not, actually fits perfectly in this section. And so I wanted to show you what I did in order to get layers. And I've been kind of thinking about my layer. I usually do a lot of one-layer cards because I like to mail them, but there are some cards that I do that have layers that maybe if I were to put them in the mailbox wouldn't be super awesome. So these I might do as I would actually give them, hand them over. But you can kind of see, and I'll just turn this so you can kind of see all the layers. And obviously you can see there's a lot of foam tape going on. But what I also have is background cover dies, and this one's a little bit different. And I know you guys are looking at that going, Amy, that looks like a stencil. Yes, it is. But, and I don't know if you can tell, we got a lot of layers going on here. This is actually embossed. There we go. There we can see it. This is actually an embossed stencil. And I also I used some little strips from here just as little pieces over here. So that's what we're going to get into today. I just got a couple of kind of crazy things. And Audrey, I'm so glad that you're excited for this Build a Garden, because I looked at it too and I was like, gosh, I think it just takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of kind of understanding and knowing it. And that's, like I said, that's kind of been my mantra this year is, what can I do and use the products that I already have. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started here. And I would love to know, do you have this Build-A-Garden? Are you somebody who maybe had this and you weren't exactly sure what the heck to do with it? This one I think is from last year, but really, really beautiful, beautiful set. So I'm going to kind of play around and give you a couple of little tips and tricks for all of this. All right. So I'm going to do kind of both of these at the same time because there's a lot of things going on and I'm using the pieces together here for them. I know, right, Kathy? What you already have. Although I got to say, Kathy, I might also be pushing you to head over to altenew.com and maybe buying a couple of things today, but we'll see how we go. So I'm actually going to start with embossing a piece of paper with this stencil. And I'm also at the same time, because I'm just going to have my machine out, I'm also going to die cut this. So this right here is a really fabulous cover die, and this is called the Diamond Frame Cover Die. And I know you're looking at it going, I don't know about that, but this is a really neat little die because of the fact that it not only just gives you the cover die, but it also cuts out all these pieces. So you can actually use these pieces later on. And that one is pretty cool. So I'll show you that one. Oh, the Dottie stencil, Anne, would also be fabulous. And Sue, wait till you see this bubble wrap embossed because it is really cool. So what I've already done here is I have just a piece of A2 cardstock that's going to be for my bubble stencil. And then what I did is I took a piece, and this is from and I'm trying to give copper a little bit more love because I feel that the copper brushed copper metallic cardstock does not get a lot of love. We always reach for the gold. I know you all do it too. I do it too. We reach for the gold. We reach for the silver. The rose gold is to die for, but sometimes copper just doesn't get enough love. So I grabbed the copper today. So I'm like, you know what? I just want to showcase it again. And I also already on the back of this used my double-sided adhesive sheet. So all you do with this is you just take the adhesive sheets, you just rip off a little piece, you stick this on one side, and so they're sticky on this. And I'm doing that so that way I don't have to go ahead and glue that. You totally can do it, but I will see it. And Tracy, this cover die, you're going to put that on the list for what you want. All right, so let me clear off my table. So this is what we're aiming for right now. So I'm going to die cut my cover die, and I'm also going to emboss with my stencil. So again, we're going to ultimately get over to this Build-A-Garden Dear Dahlia set. So I'd love to know, do you have this? Do you have this set, the Build-A-Garden Dear Dahlia? All right, so I'm going to show you guys. Now, every machine is a little bit different with how you emboss with a stencil. I have a Spellbinders machine, and what I'm doing here is I'm just following how to emboss a cut shape. So I put that down, and you just have to look at your machine for what makes the most sense. And I'm just going to put my stencil down. And then I'm going to put my piece of paper down. And you can put it this way if you want. You can put it this way. This one doesn't matter because the image or the pattern, the design goes the same whether it's front or back, forward, sideways, doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and place this down. And I'm just trying to get it as straight as possible. And I'm not going to use any tape because I don't want that tape to emboss. And that should stay pretty good. All right, and then Spellbinders has this little tan embossing mat. So I'm going to shove that guy right on here. And you notice I'm just plopping them in and then boop, putting them right down. And then I'm just going to grab, and they have this special embossing plate that you put on. And then I just roll this through. Because I don't know why, but I feel the need for some reason to do this 3 or 4 times. So it's kind of cool. And Kathy, check out this set. It's a little different from any of the other Build-A-Gardens. Build-A-Gardens usually come with a stamp set, and it will come with an embossing stencil. And you even actually get a mini blending tool to come with it, so that way you can build up your collection of mini blending tools. All right, here we go. Reveal. So just to show you guys, it does this really beautiful job. And I love this bubble wrap for this, but check out any of your stencils. It just really looks beautiful. And I still have a little tacky on here, so it's still a little tacky. But isn't that neat? Can't you just imagine all the cool stuff that you can do with that? And it even looks cool on the back side. And so you can use either side. So really think about pushing those stencils, you know, kind of doing those things a little bit differently. All right, so I'm going to put my bubble wrap stencil away. Great stencil, really great over round. And I know you're looking at it like, Amy, it's just big circles. But, you know, I think it just looks really cool embossed. All right, so now I'm going to cut my fine frames. Now this one's a little tricky because this is an A2 cover die. And what I'm going to do, and I know I want to cut it off here, but sometimes I get it where it's like the side isn't right or something like that. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of satin masking tape. And I'm just going to kind of create a little book. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm just lining this up so it's as even as I can possibly get it. And I'm just going to go right on the section. And then I'm just going to wrap this around. Okay, I'm just creating a little book. I don't care that it's not going to cut through that. That's not my, you know, biggest problem, etc. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this down. And I'm just going to stick this guy right in here. And then stick this guy right on top. And then I'm just going to cut this. And this should go right through without needing a shim. But it does actually have to go through. Here we go. Let's try that again. All right. Oh my gosh, the mini blending tools totally, Audrey, are an addiction. It's like you can never have enough. I just realized because my pinks, I can't ever get the red off. All my other colors I can do. There we go. Oh boy, I'm getting my workout today with this guy. Woo. All right, and this cardstock cuts so well. There we go. All right, fingers crossed. Pull this guy out. Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at him. I hope this cut through because it may not have, and I may have to run it again, which is why I kept it as a little book. Oh, it did a nice job. So you end up with like all these little pieces, which is really cool. But you have to be mindful because I put this on the back, it's gonna, sometimes it just needs a little extra shim. So not all those cut through, but it's really neat because you end up with all these pieces. So you end up with the lines, you end up with this big, huge diamond in the middle. And it's just really, really cool that you can have all this. And then because I added on this right here, it already has sticky on it. And I think I'm just going to run this through one more time. These guys always get a little stuck, but I think they actually made it through. They're just not on the paper. Let me just double check my little book. All right. And that's why I do the book, because then I can put it right back and it is ready to go. I actually think it's okay. I think it's just the sticky part. Here we go. Oh yeah, it did good. Oh yeah, it did real good. Okay, so I'm going to, it's like, what are you doing? It's because all of this stuff is stuck to the release paper, which I want it to be. So I'm just going to pull off the outside. And so I just need to use my little pokey tool and just kind of keep everything else in the release paper. Here we go. And I love this. It's such, and then in any color of the metallic cardstock, these kind of things like this, these fine frames, they just are really, really beautiful. And I love how they look. All right, while I'm poking, let me know, layers or no layers? Are you a one layer card person? Do you like to give one layer cards? Do you like to kind of use a lot of dimension tape and have things on top of each other? Let me know in the comments right now. I'm typically a one layer card person, but I wanted to kind of zhuzh it up a little bit. Oh, layers. It's not harder to cut through the paper. The reason why this just has all the release stuff on it, that's why it's coming off. It's just that all these other things want to stay together because I put the release paper, because I put the sticky on it. But I'm just going to take all these guys out right now. Now, these little guys I'm going to keep. And what I want to do with them is I'm actually going to use them as elements on my other card, which is why I have them all here. And now they all have sticky on them, so I can use them very, very easily. All right. And this is coming off right now. Usually this is a little bit faster, but of course I'm doing this while everybody's watching me, and so therefore it's going to take a little bit more time. But now, like I said, I can use all these, which is fabulous. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop these guys out, and then we're good to go. In fact, I think I'm going to pop it this way. Here we go. What's nice is that this will fit right onto a regular background. So I have a piece of paper right here by my elbow, and I'm just going to pop this right on. And if you're nervous about like not getting it right, you can add a little bit of glue. There's a couple of different techniques that you can use if you're not the best gluer honor of things. And you know what? You can always cut a little if you need to. Oh, wow. Yes. Layer, right? It all depends. I love layers. Oh, that's so nice, Lynn, that you hand deliver your cards. It's nice too, because then you get to see like the recipient's like, you know, face when you do it. I don't always do that, but I tend to mail a little bit more. So I think I stick with the one layer cards because I do not want to give the Postal Service any extra money. I have to say that. So I tend to just do one layer cards, and that is it. All right, so now I'm just getting off these little extra pieces, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick these on here. And I have to say, this really, even just this background, because it has this gorgeous metallic shininess to it, it's really beautiful, even just on its own. And obviously, I'm going to pair it up with some flowers and a nice floral, but even if you just added a sentiment onto this, it's really, really nice. Oh, I'm getting a little bit tricky with all these guys. Here we go. Okay, we're almost free of these little guys, these little hanger-oners here. Okay. I'm going to move this aside so we can move this on. And I'm just going to keep those guys right here. And I just have a little section. Just get the rest of them. You know that these things, this is like glitter. It's going to like stick on me forever. I'm going to be finding them on my clothes and on my pants and everywhere. So word to the wise, these guys like to stay a little bit with you. Okay, go away. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop these down. And I just like to kind of line up a side to it. And then I will go ahead and just do it one little section at a time. All right, so I'm just going to pop this right on the corner. And you can always add glue if you're a little nervous, because that glue will give you a little bit of playing time. Okay, let's pop that right down. And like I said, if it doesn't match completely, you can always cut a little bit of edges and things like that. And then it will work. All right, I'm just going to grab these little extra hanger-oners. Get these guys out of here. They are giving me a fight today, these guys. Okay. Sorry, guys, you are not in the final design. I know you want to be, but you are not in the final design. Okay, we're bringing out the big guns here. Except I lost it. Nope, I can't. Okay. And one more, guys. One more. Get out. Okay, there we go. We're just going to accept. Okay, there we are. He is still sticking on. There we go. He's gone. Goodbye. All right, so I just want to pause for a second. So this is what you end up with when you look at it. So it's really, really super pretty like that. Thank you so much, by the way, for sharing this, Sue and Jennifer and Shiomara, and Lynn and Melly. If you share this while we're live, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift card to Altenew. And Han is behind the badge today, and she will be picking that winner at the end of our live. All right, so now that I finally have this thing down, so now we have our two backgrounds. So this, we're going to be adding some florals to there. And before I do that, I wanted to take a minute. I wanted to use my inks, and I find, and this is partially because I don't own a lot of the Altenew ink pads that are large size. I kind of went with the minis because it's just easier for me on space. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to very, very lightly, so these are the mixed media inks, and I like these better because they are really, really nice to blend. And I'm trying to show off this raised edge. So you can see that I did this with the stencil. And so you can see that I just want to show it off. So what I'm doing is I'm just lightly using my ink pad and just kind of bringing that right on. And this is Caribbean Sky. And I chose this because it's a bright blue, but it's not super dark. So I wanted a rainbow look, but I wanted it to be still a little bit soft. So I'm going right along, and I am going for a little ombre look. So I'm doing probably about a third, maybe a little bit more than a third of the way up with the Caribbean Sky. And then I'm actually going to flip my paper, and I'm going to go right around, and I'm going to use Coral Berry on the other side. I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going really, really soft. I don't know what that is. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and use Warm Sunshine. And when I put that yellow Warm Sunshine in the middle, it's going to mix with the Coral Berry to create an orange, and it's also going to mix with the Caribbean Sky in order to create a green. And so that's where I'm going to get my gradient for my background. And again, I'm trying to go really light on this just to give a little hint of color. But you can see where I'm starting to build that orange and where I'm starting to get that blue. So fun. I know. They are really, really so fun. So that's what you do. And so that way it's very, very simple. So we went from that bubble wrap stencil, we embossed with it, and just using just 3 inks, you can get this whole gradient of rainbow. So it's really, really great. All right. And I agree with you, Allison. These inks are so much fun to use that you can do so many different things with them. Really, really great inks. I love the mixed media inks. All right. So I'm going to put those aside. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start to play around with the Build-A-Garden Dahlia. And the first thing that I did, and I apologize that I did this off screen, it's just because I knew I had so many things. I had so many things going on today. So I grabbed the stamp, and so just to remind you again of the Build-A-Garden Dear Dahlias. So what you have here is you have this stamp set, and the stamp set is just this one big floral. And this is so big, just to show you guys, this is an A2 panel. That's how big this floral is. It fits the whole panel. It's really big. And so what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to cut it up into pieces and use parts of it on the 2 different cards. So what I've done already is I die cut it out, and you can see that you get this big die with it. And I stamped it using embossing ink. And then I die cut it, and then I embossed it. And I'm using platinum ink today because I thought that the platinum and the copper would go well. And also I'm using it with the purple. So I'm going to go ahead and just heat emboss this. So I was just trying to skip a step. So yeah, try that. Oh, Sue, I know the rubber mats, it's got to be somewhere, right? I have a bin where I keep all my plates, and I keep it near my like section of die cutting machines. Not that I have a ton, but I keep it over there. And that's been helpful because otherwise I feel like I lose all the plates and they're all over the place. So this platinum, and what I like about the platinum embossing powder is it's silver, but it's like a warm gray. So I think it looks, in my opinion, it looks nicer with flowers and things like that because it's a warm gray to it. It's really pretty. All right, so I'm just about done. I just got to check this one section where my guys are here. Okay. And of course, because it's an outline, it heats up really fast. Now, what's neat about this, the Build-A-Garden Dear Dahlia, is that it comes with this layered flower. And that will work right over this. And I'm going to show you that in a second. Now, one of the things, and Han, are you ready for this? Because I have to say, I just got this email from Altenew, and I saw that I think this is free today. I think this is free today with a $139 purchase. So I'm letting you guys know. I was kind of excited about it, but this is, I know you're looking at it like it's the stamp wheel mount. Yes, it is, but this is the grid one. This one is low tack. So where the one in my stamp wheel has a much like more higher level of tackiness to it, I guess. This one's low tack, so this is really great for your stencils. And I'm still pulling off my sheet. Just going to put this over the side, but this one's free today with a $139 purchase. Yay! All right, so I'm just going to put this here, and I'm just going to stick that right to it. And this mat, oh my gosh, Allison, is great, right? So good. And yes, also as well, Allison, as you said, it's a good reminder that we can cut these flowers up. And I know a couple of you are going to be looking at this going, oh my gosh, Amy, don't cut it. Don't do it. But I have to say, that's what, it's okay. It's just paper. It's not a big deal. You can do it. It's not going to kill you. It's totally fine. It's all right. All right. So I'm going to grab the stencil, which I just put down somewhere. Here it is. Okay, I saw that. I saw that it was to my right, not my left. This stencil is neat because of the fact that it's only 4 stencils. And so it's actually pretty quick to put together. And what I wanted to do is, as I stencil this, I am actually going to stencil. I'm thinking about this already as the 2 parts that I'm going to put it into play, that I'm going to cut it up into. And I wanted my background on the bubble wrap to be brighter than the flowers. So I'm actually going to stencil this with a couple of different kind of colors of things. So I'm going to start with this with wisteria, but I wanted the other sections to be a little bit more on the gray side. So I'm actually going to do the other one a little bit differently. All right, so I'm going to start here with wisteria. So I'm just coming in with my mini blending brush, and this is ultimately going to be covered by the die cut. So I'm not going to do a super fabulous job doing this one. It's really more important that I do this section than this big one. So I'm just kind of slopping color down on this one. All right, so that's my color on that one. Yes, me too. This mat, Lynn, this mat is so good. And then what I like about it, like I said, is this is the like super sticky version. So you can use it for so many different things. And one of them, of course, is what I'm doing here. And you can see I'm not using any tape. My stencil is not moving. And I'm able to, it's great. And even when I lift this up, you'll see it. I won't really have to do much. All right, so that was rose quartz. So I'm using Enchanted Garden for this guy, but I'm using rose quartz for this one. And then I wanted to use a little bit of blue and I wanted to get some purple in on this one. And so in my opinion, the best like grayish, bluish is sugar plums. And so the lightest one on this one is pale mauve. And I'm just going to grab some scrap paper just to make sure that I am cleaned off before I put my pale mauve on. And I love these colors. Yes, thank you, Hand. Hand put it in there, guys. Free stamp wheel with purchase today. Go check it out. Sorry, not stamp wheel mat. This mat specifically, which is the low tack mat. Really awesome. Now the other like gorgeous gray colors are from Tranquility. Love this set as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous set. It just has this really great blue. And I'm going to start in the middle with this one. And then I'm going to fan that color out just to give it a little bit of depth and dimension. And you can see how beautiful and like light and kind of grayish that is. Oh, gorgeous. And watch this. So I'm peeling this off. My other guy stays in place. That's right, stays in place. All right, so now I'm going to grab stencil 2. And these are really fast and easy to line up. You can see I'm not really having any sort of problems. There's an outline on the side. And I'm just going ahead and I'm putting these into, of course I said that, now it's not, but I'm putting these down relatively easily. For me in stencils. And again, just stays right down, really, really stays right down. All right, so I'm going to go in again. So here, I'm just going to add in a little bit of from the Enchanted Garden. So this one is Hydrangea. And again, I don't care. Most of this is going to be covered up. So I'm just going to add just a little bit of color here. Just in case if anything kind of peeks through from the side, that's all I really care about. So I'm just kind of smushing color on there. All right, so my Enchanted Garden I'm going to put away for right now. I'm going to need that in just a second. Now I'm going to come in with the next color. So I'm going to go Puffy Heart. And Puffy Heart's pretty like brightish, but I want to, again, I want to keep these light. So I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm going to come right out towards the edge of the petals. All right, so there's Puffy Heart. And then I'm using the sugar plums up here. So I'm going to come in. Now these are not, they don't have another layer to them, these flowers up on the corner. So just in order to get some differentiation, I put the lightest color pale mauve on here. And then the other one I'm using is amethyst. And you can get a little bit of other color on them. But this just differentiates between those two sets. And I want to make these guys up here blue. So I'm going to grab that, whatever the heck is left on here. And I'll add my next color. All right, so Cloudy Sky is coming in next. And I'll just make these guys Cloudy Sky. All right, and then I'm just pushing my Cloudy Sky onto here. But really, really super easy to blend. And this is a really nice set for this. All right, just going to pull this guy off. So that was 2. And now I'm coming in with number 3. So this is my detail, like my most detail layer. Again, don't really care too much about the purple because all the this big flower, because all that's going to be covered up. I really care about this and these guys. All right, so I'm going to come in just with a little bit of purple wine. I'm not going crazy here with this. Because again, I want it to be a little bit on the softer side. All right, so I'm all done with these guys. So rose petal, I'm going to go ahead and put away. Oh, I'm so glad you're back, Sue. And you are just in time. We are just finishing up. And you can see how quick this little mat kind of makes these things. Really, really super easy. All right, so I'm just throwing this guy in. All right, so now we're going to talk leaves. So let me clean up my space. I'm going to pull these colors out. And like I said, not even worrying about that because that's all going to be covered up. So with my die cut. All right, so there's 3. And now I'm going to put 4 in. So 4 is like all the leaves. And so there's like 4 sections on here. So we're going to be on 4 a little bit. So I'm going to start with the larger collection of leaves. And there's also some branches on here as well. All right, so you can see how this, we don't care about that. We're just doing this one over here on this side. All right, let me pull this up just so you can see. So there's a couple of things going on. So these leaves, this leaf and this leaf and this leaf, they're going to stay part of my main image. This is going to be a separate guy over here. All right, so all these guys are going to be kind of in their own, because I'm stating that because I'm using 2 different greens. I'm using Green Fields, and Green Fields is going to be my like main green for the main image. And I wanted like a nice bright kind of green. So I'm putting down frayed leaf just to give it that base color. So this is going to be my main image. Now these other guys, all of these are not. So I'm actually going to grab and work with Nature's Wonders. And Nature's Wonders is this really great brownie sort of green. And these are absolutely fabulous for this. So you can kind of see the color difference as I start to lay this color down. These are a lot more muted. And that's what I'm going for. Hi, Teresa. I'm so glad you are here. And this is a great time for me to break and to say that while we are live, if you share this while we are live, you'll be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And Han is behind the badge today. So huge, huge shout out to Han for being here. And she will be choosing the winner when we are done with the live. So, and today, with $139 purchase, this mat that I'm using to stencil on is free with your purchase. So check it out. This might be the time if you're like, not so sure what I'm doing. Go check that out. All right. So like I said, this is 4 little parts. So we did 1 part. This is 2 part. This one is going to go with my main image. And so I'm just going to add the frayed leaf onto that one. Okay. Done. Boom. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to add in some detail layers. So I'm going to do 2 things here today. I like, just to kind of brighten up my leaves, I like to add a little bit of blue. And so I'm going to grab some sea breeze. And I sometimes will use teal. This is a pretty bright blue. But remember that these are transparent. And so light will come through, or translucent, I should say. These are translucent. So even though you're like, oh my gosh, that's really, really blue, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of forest glades to this. And these are going to mix and blend on here. So this is going to give a little bit of a bluish tint. And so just to give you guys an idea, if you look at this leaf versus these leaves, you can see that it just has that little bit of a blue tint. And let me hold that up for you so you can see it. So you can see it just has a little bit of a blue tint versus these over here. And that little blue, I think it just kind of warms it up. I don't know why, but maybe just to my eye, it looks pretty cool. I like it. All right, so now I'm coming in with my last detail layer. So that is all of these guys over here. And then don't forget, we have kind of like two different color schemes going on. And I'm only doing that because of the fact that I will be cutting this apart. So just keep that in mind that I'm cutting this apart. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to come in with the blue. So these three guys here are coming in, and I'm just grabbing whatever blue is on the bottom and what's left over on my deep blue seas. And now I'm coming in with the forest glade, and I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm just going to kind of hit the base because I want to keep a little bit of that blue showing. All right, so that's my forest glades. So those are all done. Put those away. And now I'm going to finish up with these guys. So I'm going to grab a little bit of marshland. And I'm not adding blue here because I want to keep it a little subdued. Okay, but you can see that really, really beautiful green to this. So it has this really nice green. And I'm just going to add just a little bit of whatever the heck was left over on my brush. Just going to add a little bit of green there just to green it up. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this off. And this mat is just absolutely fabulous. It makes blending a breeze. It makes life easy. Love it. Oh my gosh, don't you, Kathy? Thank you, Tina. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Tracy. The blue is great. Try it out. See what you think. All right, so here is our stenciled image. So we have this. Now, I'm not going to use this as an entirety because, like I said before, it really does. It's a big, big flower. And it's gorgeous just as it is. But we're going to cut this up into some pieces. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to create my flower. So I'm just going to leave this over to the side for just a moment, but I'm going to create my flower. So one of the easiest ways to do this is to use the gradient cardstock. And the gradient cardstocks are fabulous. And I am using New Purple because I wanted mine to be purple. And so these gradient cardstocks, oh no, Allison. Well, Allison, you could always, I hope you're close by, even though with work, but hopefully you'll be able to catch it on replay for the end of these. What's great about these cardstock sets is it already comes in this set. And we're going to zhuzh this up a little bit, but I am going to use all of these colors in all of these pieces. All right, so I have the darkest purple. Then there's the medium purple. Then I have the, I don't know what the heck this one is, semi-medium purple, and then the lightest purple. And I'm going to put those all together. Now, you'll notice that when I did this before, I kind of already have my satin masking tape. And that's the beauty of satin masking tape is you can reuse it. It's so cool that way that you can do that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of my copper, and that is for the center of the flower. So that guy's all ready to go. And then this is kind of the base under it. And I'm just going to stick that onto the dark purple. And I'm going to grab my mini blossom in just a second. I think I might need a new piece of this. So we'll see. This I don't need because I just used it. This is going to be for these little wings, and I'll show you all of this when I turn this over. I'll show this all to you. And I have to say, what's nice about this is lining it up is really super easy because it has the little keyholes in it. And I have to say, I got my nails done, and they're a little bit thicker than I'm used to, so I'm having trouble picking stuff up. Okay, so there goes that. And then this guy. So I have, so the way this works is you have all of these pieces. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and then the center that kind of hides the keyhole. And what I did is I went from lightest to darkest, and that's my metallic. So I'm just looking right now for what I wanted to do. So I think I'm going to put 1 and 2 on here because I have room for that. And then I'm going to put 3 and 4 on my next piece. Okay, and then I'll just get them in, and I'm going to run through my mini blossom. And that's a nice thing about the mini blossom is, yeah, I could bring out the big machine and kind of put this all in, but the mini blossom is really, really fast and gets things done. It is definitely a workhorse in my craft room. Oh my gosh, Cheryl, this is my first time. I can't do anything. Somebody convinced me to get the dip nails. Oh my gosh. I can't like grab anything now. Having troubles, I'm telling you. Okay, that's 2. This is 3. And I do save my little pieces. So you saw my little box that had all of my gradient cardstock in it. And I do save all my little pieces. And what's neat is you can see these pieces of satin masking tape. I'm just going to stick these, when I put this back into the packaging, I'm just going to keep the masking tape on it. And then I don't have to keep grabbing masking tape each time. And then it's good to go. It's really easy. So yeah, Audrey, I was thinking purples today. It's not always my like normal color, but I don't know. I was having a purple feel. I hope you guys like it. And I thought it went really well with the platinum, and I thought it actually went really well with the copper too. So, all right, so I'm going to grab a little dish, and this is kind of what I do is I just grab a dish, and then as the pieces come out, I just throw them right in there. Now for when I have little guys like this, I just throw all the little guys together on one plate. So let me show you what I mean. So here's my plate, and I'm just going to shove all my little guys on here. And then I can just run them through one time. So even though I have different colored cardstock, it's all going to work out on here. All right, here we go. And then the plate, in my opinion, is essential because it's going to keep all of your pieces, because all the pieces start to go awry. So I'm just going to start popping these guys out. Okay, 1, 2, and Mini Blossom just does a super duper fabulous job. There's 3. 4. And then I just run these 2. If I can pick them up with my nails. Now, I did not put adhesive backing on these. And the reason why is because I like to use the glue. So that way I can kind of manipulate where the heck everything is going. So that's kind of my key. So I end up using glue. And this is a really nice paper, but the pieces just pop out really, really easily from it. And what's so cool, and they haven't done another build a garden like this, but I think it's really cool how it ends up, where this just fits right over the image, so you can add those layers to it. It's pretty cool. All right, so these are my last pieces. All right, and I know we only have about 10 minutes left. Let me know questions. If you have questions about the Build-A-Garden or about the gradient cardstock. Love the gradient cardstock, so fabulous. All right, so now I have all these little pieces. And what I want to do is I'm going to zhuzh up these pieces a little bit. And I want to just show you a couple of ways that you can do this. And I'm just kind of popping out these little arrows. And that's what's neat because it has these little arrows, so it tells you the direction and how to line them up. These have really been, this keyhole system has really been fabulous to use. Okay, the first thing I'm going to grab, and I know it's not what you're thinking because I am assuming you're thinking, oh, you're going to put some coloring on it or you're going to do something with it. And I'm actually going to grab my my scoreboard. And with my scoreboard, I am going to grab the little scoring tool. And I'm actually just going to use just the bottom pieces. Now I'm going to flip these over because I want the indent to be on the front of the petal. And so when I press down into the paper, that indent comes right up. And you can see it. So it just gives a little stripe. There we go. It just gives it a little striation. And you can do this for as much as you want. And you notice I'm kind of turning it and I'm just kind of looking and seeing. You don't have to go all the way down with your petals. You can turn your petal to get whatever angle or side that you want to get, but it just gives it a little bit of something. And let me show you what you can do. So I'm actually going to grab my ink and I'm going to pull in that little mat again. And again, fabulous for this. So here's my little mat. I'm just going to stick my little piece down and I'm going to come in with some hydrangea and my tool, and I'm just going to go right off the edge and just add a little bit of ink. And what's nice is I can keep these all organized here. After I'm kind of done messing with them, I can just keep them all organized and just add a little bit of ink. So that's another awesome thing for this little guy here. It's really, really cool. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard. I'm just going to do this on I'm not going to do this on every single petal. I'm just doing a couple of petals. But you do want to flip it over because you want that indentation. I mean, I guess you could do it whichever way you want to. But for me, I wanted that indentation to be facing up. And because I knew I was going to ink it up. So there's my next one. And then I'm just going to grab this one. And this will be the last one that I do. And you can do one. I'm kind of doing like 1, 2, 3, depending on the size of the petal. And again, you can go in as deep as you want. And I'm kind of following a little bit. The artist, whoever made this, had some indentations on there. So I'm just kind of following those. Okay, so that's that. So I'm just going to go in a little bit more ink with hydrangea and just add this in. And that's what's really nice about this little mat is it's just going to keep it right where you need it to be. And this is a nice way because I don't have to add all the color because there's a base color here because of the paper. So I only have to do just a little bit and it just adds just a little bit of something. Okay, so now with this guy, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to add some antique gold. So I actually have a dedicated like metallic little brush here. And I'm just going to go right off on the edges. And I just want to add a little bit of antique gold. Just a little bit. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is this guy and his little twin, which is still in my tray. These two, I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'm going to add a little bit of antique gold to the edges. And then I'm going to use these guys and a little bit of translucent pearl powder. Actually, I think I can just dip them in. So by having the translucent, oh yeah, that's a good question. So Nancy, I think there's just, I can show you the green I have. I just got another green that they just came out with another gradient cardstock set. That's the green one that I purchased, but I haven't, I literally just got it. So I haven't gotten it yet. All right, so I'm just going to put him right on here, and then I'm going to come in and I'm just dipping him in. So because this is a pigment ink, it can hold the embossing, but because it's translucent pearl, the gold is actually going to show through. Oh, I think, Tracy, I just looked. I think it's in stock. I just checked stock on all this stuff before I did my live. Check it right now, Tracy. It should be in stock. And that's always, if you ever have a question, you always can email customer service. I just want to show you guys. So you can see that it's got like a little bit of shine, but you can still see the gold, right? So it's so cool because you can still see that. All right, so here's my other pieces. Then I have my two tiny pieces that I have not done anything to, which are right here. And now I'm going to put these guys together. And then I think I'm going to be done after this, and I'll show you how to put this in. But it's going to be cool. Okay, so I'm going to grab my glue, and I'm just going to start putting these together. So I'm going to start out with one. And if you're like, I have no idea what the heck one is or two, or how do you know, Amy? It's because it's actually right on the front of the packaging, which I put somewhere and can't find, but just trust me, this is one. All right, and then I'm going to grab two and just pick that one right up. And I'm just going to line these guys right up. So there's two. And what you can do is just kind of curl these petals just a little bit, just to give it a little bit of texture to it. And then what I'm going to do with this guy is I want to pop him up. So I'm just going to grab just a touch of Instant Dimension foam tape. And I have to say I used a lot on both of these, but I'm just going to grab just a touch of Instant Dimension foam tape. And I am going to cover up that little guy, the little arrow, but that's because the arrow is really just there for guidance. It's not really there for anything else. Okay. So I'm just going to line that up, and there's my little guy. And that's our first little bit of layers. And I'm just going to kind of pop that up. All right, now my next one, I'm going to put this guy on, put a little glue, and you can decide where you want these to be, how fat, how much you want to kind of pop it up. And then I'm going to add a little bit more Instant Dimension foam tape, and then I'm going to pop up my next two. Yes, Sue, I added just around the keyhole, and that's because I'm looking, it really depends on what you want to do, but I don't want this to be flat. I want it to be, raised. So I want that to be, I want those to show up. And so that's why you just put it up. Because if I were to do the glue like on all of the petals, then I don't have that movement and that flexibility between these. So all you need it is just in that center part, and that's it. All right, and here's my last little guy, if I can get him. All right, and I know I'm gonna do this really fast. All right, so here's my little guy right here. All right, so that is all of our little pieces. Really super cute. And now I'm actually going to come in and I'm just going to pop up this last little bit just to give me even more dimension and height on this little guy. And you can start to see how he's kind of coming together. And my glue is too wet, but that's okay. I'm going to put him back in place. Oops. There we go. We're going to pretend he's still stuck. All right, then he's going to go right here. And my foam tape is too big, so apologize. Let me just cut him down real quick. All right, foam tape right here. Put my last little guy on. And then this guy, actually what his entire job is to cover the keyhole. So you'll always end up with this little piece that covers the keyhole. Now I want to show you one thing. This fits perfectly right over that. And that's where you can kind of look that. So that's how you get that. So it's really neat for that one. All right, so I'm going to very carefully, I know I'm kind of running out of time. So Han, thank you for your patience. All I'm going to do right now is just take a moment and take my scissors. And I am just going to cut this. And I did it on purpose that I knew what I was going to do. But all I'm going to do is just come right around this flower. So you can see this pink flower is going to pop right off. So that one is getting separate. And that's okay. That's on purpose, everybody. And then I'm going to start cutting right around all of this. And I'm just cutting these little parts free. And like I said, this is a really big flower, but this is a way that you can kind of get 2 cards out of one big, huge floral image, is to do it this way. Okay, and then we just cut right here. Boom. All right. So now I'm just going to go through the steps of doing this. This will fit right there. And so you get this really gorgeous flower, right? I know, I'm so sorry, sisters. Sorry. You get this really gorgeous purple flower and all of this dimension. And I'm going to add some foam tape and pop this up even higher. And then I have a little sentiment that I'll put over on the side. Now with this, because you're like, whoa, what are you doing with this mess? I'm just going to free this little pink flower away. Add some foam tape and kind of neaten up my ends, neaten up my little ends here. Add some foam tape, and then this goes on here. Now, it looks like it's kind of weirdly floating in space. So that's where you can come in with your little pieces, and you can just add these in just to give it something to kind of float off of. So it's not, doesn't look like it's totally floating in space. And what I do is I just hang these edges, I just hang these pieces off the edge, and that's where I get this from. So just to give you an idea. So I hope that you guys picked up some tips today from the Build a Garden Dear Dahlia. But that's our card. So you end up with this lovely, lovely layers, things stacking on top of each other. And you can see how they look. And again, this is one floral image. The Build a Garden Dear Dahlia comes with this awesome, awesome build a flower. And I hope that these tricks for getting the most out of that flower, and you can see the lovely shine and the dimension and all the depth that you're getting from that piece on there. So I'd love for you to try it. Let us know. Go ahead and when you share these things, share it out to Altenew and tag us. And I hope that you enjoyed this today. And it's been absolutely great having you. And thank you so much for allowing Altenew to craft your life. Thank you. And huge shout out to Han, who was behind the badge today. All right, everybody. I will see you later. Bye.